Hey guys, Jake here, and welcome back to the second episode of Prison Architect. Now, last episode we planned out our first prison block here. We also planned out the canteen, the kitchen, and the yard. We also started work on the reception area with the offices. I think what we're going to do now is get straight into this episode. So, what we need to do, we need to build our offices out. So, I'm going to go ahead and place chairs in each one of these here. And a filing cabinet. And last but not least, I'm going to also place an office desk. Now, let these guys build that for me. Awesome, so essentially that means now we can hire a warden. There we go. Okay, so the warden is going to allow us to look at the bureaucracy tab. Now, as you can see here, we've got multiple things that we can unlock. Some of them are grayed out because we need to unlock the first ones first. However, this gives us something to aim towards. So each one of these people requires an office. So that means we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 offices needed, which is fine. We've got enough for that. And as you can see, each person allows us to get something different. So maintenance, for example, gives us groundskeeping, cleaning, and prison labour. Now, prison labour will essentially let us make money, so we'll be able to get prisoners working in workshops. We'll be able to sell the things they make and make money from it. Now, legal basically helps us if we get into any trouble. That's pretty self-explanatory. Health, that allows us to unlock the orderly, and basically they are guards for the criminally insane. They're specially trained to restrain the criminally insane without harming them, so that's something we will need to get. So armory is for tasers and body armor and guard towers. Now, guard towers will come in super handy to stop prisoners escaping. And then we've also got security, and that just allows us to have surveillance, dogs, and remote access, etc, etc. Okay, so while our warden is researching that, we are going to go ahead and lay the starter foundations for this massive prison block here. So we need to build the kitchen first, I know that much. I'm not going to be able to build it all in one go because that would cost, well, I can show you how much that would cost. That would cost nearly $50,000, and we do not have that kind of money. So I'm going to go ahead and build a bit of this canteen. I don't want to build too much because obviously the money costs. And I'm also going to go ahead and build a small section of this prison block. Okay, so as you can see, we're running quite low on money now. We've got all of these objectives that we've got to complete, and we've only got $12,000. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go to the Objects tab, and I'm going to dismantle all of these trees here. So essentially what that will do, that will move all of the logs to the exports area so that they can be sold for us. Now I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of these trees here because they need to be cleared anyway. And it will make us a fair amount of money each time, so it's worth doing. So whilst they do that, I'm going to speed the time up to get that done quicker. And we also need some entrances here, so I'm going to go ahead and place a door. Now, what door do we want to use? We probably want to use a large jail door there. And for now, we're just going to use a small jail door there and there. Nothing too fancy yet, because this is only a temporary door anyway. Then I'm just going to also wall in the kitchen so that prisoners can't steal any weapons or anything. Okay, cool. So as you can see, we have got the basics of our cell block done now. Obviously, we've still got a lot to do, but that there is a secure area for our prisoners to be in. So what we need to do now, we need to design the cells. So I'm going to place a wall here, and then I'm going to make one of the cells, like so. And we're going to put normal sized jail doors in there. So from experience, we want to make these cells quite nice. Prisoners don't tend to like bad cells in this game, so if you have a bad cell, your prisoner's probably going to kick off and cause you more trouble than it's worth. So what we're going to do to avoid prisoners mingling too much, we're going to have the bed, toilet, and we're also going to put a shower head in there. Now what this will allow us to do, this will allow us to not have a shower room, so prisoners will not have to mix as such. So I'm going to put that there. How are we looking for space? We could probably put something else in here as well. I'm watching the money because we don't want to spend too much on a cell, but I feel like we could probably put a... Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and put a TV in there, and also a bookshelf. So they've got a fairly decent cell really, which should help us in the long run because then they won't be complaining. Now, like I said before, this cell block here is not going to be the criminally insane one. I'm thinking we could probably have normal or maximum security in here. So the difference being, if we go to the rooms tab, we need to assign this as a cell. However, if it's a criminally insane inmate, we have to use a different cell, which is the padded cell. Now the difference is the wall type. As soon as you do that, as you see, they are turned into a padded cell. Now there's not too much difference, but for now I'm just going to keep it simple. We don't want to have two hard inmates to start off with because, as you can see, we've got no perimeter walls, so we do not want two hard inmates at the moment because otherwise they could literally just run out. So I made another mistake here and I forgot to turn off auto light when building this area, so I'm going to go ahead and dismantle these lights because they get quite annoying and they're not exactly placed in the right place either. So, and then I'm going to go and place a light above the bed there. And then once that is all built, I'm going to clone this cell using the quick build tool. Now the quick build tool saves you a lot of time. It's fairly simple to use. You right click and drag the zone you want to clone, and then once that is done, you can then simply left click and place the cells wherever you want. Now this works for anything. I don't think there's a maximum size either, but there could be. So after the longest time ever, they've finally built these cells. Now that probably took about 10 minutes in real life time. I'm not even joking, that was crazy how long that took, and that was on max speed as well. But yeah, we finally got our cells here, so we need to run some electricity and water to these cells before they can be used. We also need to have a supply of electricity for the kitchen, and we need to place some lights as well down this corridor and the canteen as well. So I mentioned having an individual power supply per cell block. However, if you look at our money, we've only got $160 and we've still got a million things to do. So we're gonna have to go ahead and clear some of these trees. Now this is going to be pretty tight because, like I say, we haven't got much money and I don't think I was very good at budgeting, so this is going to be a bit of a nightmare really, but we should be okay. Also, a quick tip, if you don't want to wait for them to go to exports and be taken away by a lorry, you can just go into the sell tool and manually sell each one of these logs. Now it takes a bit longer, but it's worth it. So after selling all of the logs, we have now got nearly $19,000. Now, as you can see, I hadn't even sold all of the trees, so you can see why selling trees is a bit OP, and that is why we turned that setting off to have multiple trees, because we would have basically won the game without even building a prison if we did that. So I'm going to go and run a cable. Now, for now, I'm thinking of just linking it up to this electricity supply. However, when this cell block gets a bit bigger, we're going to have to make its own power supply in one of these boxes here. But we want to save as much money as possible, so I'm going to just go and do this. And we also need to place some lights as well, so I'm going to place them every 2, like this. As for the kitchen, I'm just going to make a pretty symmetrical pattern. So the prison's finally looking a bit more lifelike now. We've got to run water, but apart from that, we are pretty much good to go. The only thing we've got to do is we've got to build a yard, and we've got to also assign the rooms as well. So I'll go ahead and actually do that while I'm saying that. So we need to build the canteen like that. And we also need to do the kitchen. So there we are. Okay, that's looking a lot better now. Now for the yard, we're going to have to make a temporary yard because this yard is going to be surrounded by actual walls. So we're going to just put some fence up around it for now. I think, yeah, fence is only $3 per square, so that's pretty cheap. Okay, so we also get fence gates now, so that's something we never used to have in the old Prison Architect. So our yard's now done. What's wrong with these? Okay, so we've not got any canteens apparently, so we need to place a serving table, we need a table, and we also need a bench. So where are they? They are there. Okay, we're gonna go and do that and get some tables down as well. So this is coming together quite nicely now. Okay, so it's been a minute since the last video clip you just saw. We're having a problem here with the room requirements. It says there's no canteen accessible for the cell. Now, this is a weird issue that sometimes happens on Prison Architects, and I'm not quite sure how we can fix it. However, I'm pretty certain as soon as we get this bit of the prison built, that will be no longer an issue. I also went ahead and hired an accountant and researched him and hired a foreman. Now what that means is we can now get extra grants. Now this will come in very handy, and we can also get bank loans. Now I'm going to go ahead and research them because we probably will need a bit of extra money. Also, as you can see, we're pretty much done for our basic detention centre. We've got to build a shower. However, we're not actually going to be building a shower. So what we're going to do, we are going to hire guards, and we're also going to hire the cooks. And now, what we're going to do, we're going to set one of these rooms to be a shower. Now what this does, this allows us to complete that grant, and then we can just set it back to a cell. So there we go, we've now got an extra $10,000. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and grab these two. So then we can expand this area like so. And that should fix our problem with the canteen. Hopefully. Right, okay, brilliant. So as you can see, that has now fixed our problem with the cells. I don't really understand why it does that, but it does. So, you know, what can you do? Now, I'm just going ahead and placing some doors here. So I think what we're going to do now, we're going to go and try and do some of the inmate health and well-being tasks. I think first things first, we're going to build the medical ward, so we're going to put that there, I think. As you can see, we need to hire a psychologist and 2 doctors. Now, the thing is, we haven't actually got any more offices, so using that handy tool, I'm going to clone another office, like so, and just place that down there, so that should be good. However, before we do that, we need to research psychology. So then we can place him in the office, which will then tick off one of our objectives for inmate health and well-being. Now, we've also got to build the medical ward, like I said, so let's see how that's getting on. Brilliant. Okay, so it just requires an entrance now. Now I'm going to put a staff door here, and the reason being is because inmates can steal, I think, drugs and stuff from this area, so we don't want any inmates being able to do that, and hopefully the staff door will try and eliminate the risk. Now, in order to do this, we also require health, so we've got to research that as well. Okay, so now we've researched health, we can get 2 doctors there, which will tick off the other objective. Now, the only thing we've got to do now is make this into the medical ward. So we've got to, I think it's an infirmary, yep. Set this as the infirmary, which means we've got to place some medical beds here. So I'm just going to place 4 for now. It's not really a big deal how many you place. However, I'm keeping it to budget, so that should be good enough. We also need to, while I'm at it, run some electricity to this building, which should be good there. The only other thing I've got to do for the objectives now is unlock cleaning through bureaucracy, unlock groundskeeping, and hire at least 2 janitors and a gardener. But if you look at our daily cash flow, we are now in the negatives, so we need to get prisoners and fast, because otherwise we will have nothing to pay the bills. So I am going to go and open our prison to... we're going to do some minimum security and medium security. Now, this will be the only intake of medium and minimum that we ever do. But for now, we don't want to have too hard inmates because we need to try and maximize the amount of money we have. Actually, saying that, we could probably do this, because that will ramp up the money more. Yeah, you know what, we're going to do that. So while we wait for that, I've got some quite exciting news actually. About an hour ago, Prison Architect announced that they're going to be releasing this new DLC called Clear for Transfer. Now, I'm not too sure what it involves, but I'll put some screenshots on your screen right now. It looks quite good. It will definitely bring something more to the game, because when you get to a certain point in this game, you tend to feel that you haven't really got much you can do apart from expand the prison, obviously. So this should be quite good. I think it's a update which brings a gym as well, so we could have one of these buildings out here as a gym, which would be pretty cool. So from what I remember, it allows players to assign privileges. So this basically means we can reward the prisoners for good behaviour, which makes them behave. You tend to find sometimes, especially with gangs, you get tough prisoners that just do not want to behave. So this will be quite a good update, but it's coming out in May sometime. I think it's May 14th. So yeah, that should be quite a good addition to this series. Now, as you can see, we've got our prisoners coming in here. They're being searched at the moment, and then they'll be taken over to their cells. While they do that, we should probably start building the solitary cells over here, because at the moment we've got nowhere for bad inmates to be punished. So I'm going to do that there. So our daily cash flow now is 2,052. That should be enough for now. We've got to finish off with this solitary area, so I'm going to place a... I don't really want to place a door, but okay, we'll have to place a quick door for now. Actually, it could be a good idea to place a large jail door here, because that separates the solitary from the rest of the prison. So that's looking quite good now. I'm going to go and make these cells real quick. I'm not actually sure what the cells need in them. I'm not sure if it's just a bed or a toilet. I can't remember, but we'll find out in a minute. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to place a solitary door on here. Like so. Ooh, not there, there. So whilst off camera for that last clip, it looks like we've got a bit of a fight breaking out. So we need to go ahead and hire some more guards straight away, because we don't want this already. This is not good. Okay, so it was a good idea to get that solitary cell after all of that. So in order to work out what we actually need to help our prisoners not be so angry, I believe we need security. But that will require another office, so we need to make some more offices somewhere. For now, I think I'm just going to have to do it here. It's not an ideal situation, but it will work for now. So I went ahead and called the episode there because I had a few things to deal with in real life. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We will have another one out shortly. I'm hoping to put a video up in the next couple of days regarding the new DLC. It's looking quite interesting, to be honest. So as normal, if you did enjoy the video, then please show your support. I'm sorry this episode wasn't as energetic as usual. It just wasn't a very good day for recording, but you know, people have their off days. And I wanted to stay true to my word and get this episode out for you, so I'm sorry it's a short one, but it will be back to normal in the future. Take care, guys.